it like Gino, make them see though. JP in the clutch, yeah, that ought to make them hush, baby. Hey, you looking at the grid, see us rise, never hesitate, when it's formulate. Pieces come together, now we egg drought buster. Hit him with the big dumper, his back the jumper. On to the next chapter, stage of wonders. Circle up and dance, taking every chance. Leave it on the diamond, we keep throwing heat. See the pin, too unique. Night and day, we chase the dream. We say home run, Julio. Yeah, we all on our feet. We all on our feet. Send it at a glance, hard work advance. We gon' make them feel all the heat, all the hit.
What is going on, everybody? And guess what? That's how you get back to 500. That is how you get back to 500. And that was one of the most gutsiest win of the season, in my opinion. And you know something? Absolutely what a win. Welcome into Teal Sleeves recap. Yes, the Mariners walk off the Arizona Diamondbacks 7-6, and it was probably also one of the most stressful games that we have seen this year because, you know, there's times where the pitching is not going to be good. There's times where the pitching is not going to come through when we need it to come through. But tonight, in some cases, the pitching did come through when we needed it. As we get into this, of course, real quickly, huge shout out to JP Crawford, of course. Huge shout out to the captain. And you know something, dude, hey, JP, cheers to you, brother. Boy, I hope Corona sees that and sponsors it. But anyway, Mariners win 7-6 in 10 innings, 7 runs, 13 hits. The Diamondbacks 6 runs, 13 hits. But yes, JP Crawford. Let's go ahead and get into that. JP Crawford, this had to be one of his. This was his best game out of every game this season that he has played. This was his best game of the season. 2 for 4 tonight, 3 RBIs, a walk, 4 runs scored, and 2 home runs. Need to remind you guys that this was the first multi-homer game in JP Crawford's career. In his illustrious career here in Seattle, he's never had a multi-homer game. He picked the perfect night to do it. Also, a huge shout out to Julio Rodriguez. Come on, man. 3 for 5 night tonight. A run scored, 2 RBIs as well. And, of course, that was a 2-run shot. But Randy Arozarena, dude, you're the man tonight. You are the man tonight, delivering a clutch, probably just a clutch RBI double to walk this thing off. And the Mariners are now back at 500 at 29-29. And you know something? I wasn't going to celebrate. I was not going to start cheering when we started winning. I wasn't getting that excited over the sweep of the Oakland A's or the Athletics, whatever you want to call them. The reason why is because we weren't at 500. We're at 500 now. Now, here's the thing. You got to keep staying above 500 now. Now you got to keep going. And once again, cheers to the Mariners tonight. I mean, absolutely terrific game. It's a 4-game winning streak. Really happy about that. Tell you one thing, nothing tastes better than a victory Corona, especially when it's that ice cold. All right, let's go ahead and get into this recap. The Mariners, of course, in the first inning, 2 hits in that first inning, an infield single by Julio Rodriguez. Of course, though, we had JP Crawford. We had JP Crawford just absolutely destroy that baseball. He destroyed that baseball. I would also like to note that this game had 44,198 people at the ballpark. So we finally get a win in front of a sold-out crowd, which is perfect. I love it. It was something that we hadn't done. It was something that we did not do. But But yeah, let's go ahead and get back into this. And of course, top of the fourth, George Kirby gives up a solo shot. Who was it to again? Gave it up to Perdomo, which wasn't necessarily a big deal to me. It wasn't necessarily a big deal to me. I didn't feel like it was necessarily a thing to worry about in that situation. I was like, okay, just a solo shot, he's fine. Um, Bottom of the fifth comes up, Julio Rodriguez blasting that 2-run home run, absolutely crew. Just he has had one of the most incredible starts to his season this year. Now batting 265, a 780 on OPS, and now he blasted his 11th home run of the season. Luke Raley, though, he did add a home run to kind of like untie everything to the point of, or yeah, to untie everything in the bottom of the sixth, because top of the sixth, unfortunately, the Diamondbacks got to George Kirby. George Kirby, unfortunately, did not go a full six, 5 and a third, 4 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, and a walk. But this is something that kind of got me. Only 87 pitches. Um, I was not a fan of Dan Wilson pulling Kirby. I felt like maybe you give him one more batter, maybe you give him another chance. This is something that kind of like bothers me about Major League Baseball this year, in this day and age of Major League Baseball. Pitchers are not allowed to throw 100 pitches. They're not allowed to throw 100 pitches. The only time you ever see anybody throw 100 pitches is during college baseball. That's it. And to be completely honest, um, Dan Wilson made the worst decision of the ball game by bringing in Matt Brash. You cannot bring in a guy who has not pitched in 7 days. 7 7 days. Like, are you kidding me? You can't do that. You cannot bring in this guy and think that he's going to, dominate and throw good, because look, I just don't like it. I don't like the way Dan handles this. Um, that's the negative about this game. I don't like the way Dan handles things. When it came to both the lineup and the bullpen, because you know what? I'm actually going to say this though. The Diamondbacks analytically are the best team when it comes to facing lefties. Dan Wilson didn't care about that. He threw out his 2 best lefties tonight, and they got the job done. Gabe Spire comes in, faces Corbin Carroll, 3 pitches, you're gone. Beautiful strikeout. Absolutely unbelievable. Though, um, I really wish he would have let Ferrer finish the inning. I really wish he would have let Ferrer finish the inning. Then you could have had Bizzardo come in, and you may not have had to waste Gabe Spire. But we've got to talk about this. We got to talk about Andres Munoz. Andres Munoz has not been the closer that we want him to be. He now has a 4.98 ERA this year. And that's not going to get the job done. It's not going to get the job done because if you look at what's been going on in the last 15 games for Andres Munoz, he's got a 1-1 record, 15 games, 3.07 ERA, 7 saves. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is not what you need out of your closer. And in that inning in particular, that's what's going to happen. You walk a guy, you give up a hit, and then you hit a guy, load the bases, nobody outs. That is what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. You're going to give up the lead. You're going to probably end up losing that game, which they didn't. And thankfully, he was able to get out of that. But that is the 4th blown save for Andres Munoz this year. 4th blown save. That just worries me. It just worries me a lot. But what also worries me a little bit is how often he uses Dan Wilson uses Ferrer and Bizzardo, because Ferrer now has pitched in his 28th game, and Bizzardo this year, how many games has he played in? He's played in 27 games. And Ferrer got his 7th hold of the year. Bizzardo got his 10th hold, and then Spire got his 6th hold. But let us go ahead and talk about this. Cooper Criswell. What a pickup. I mean, that dude was nails in that inning. But he owes JP Crawford. He owes that man a steak dinner. He owes that man a bottle of whiskey. He owes that man a 24-pack of beer. I don't care what JP's preferences are. He owes JP big time. Because if JP does not make that play with Corbin Carroll and looks back that runner, we may not have won this ball game. I don't think we would have won this ball game, maybe. But Cooper Criswell, absolutely fantastic pickup, but absolutely terrible showing by Matt Brash in this game. He was not sharp at all. And, Dan Wilson made some very questionable moves tonight that I do want to talk about, because, I as much as I want to talk about the positives, I got to talk a little negatives as well. You took out, look, you took out Dominic Canzone, who has historically hit lefties better than Luke Raley, just to have Rob Refschneider come in for one at bat. You have him as your DH now. But here's the thing. If extra innings go longer, then you have him facing righties for the rest of the game. This was the move that I didn't understand. Pareda has been hitting very well as of late. There's a lefty on the mound facing a righty. You yank him for Patrick Wisdom. I know what he was going for. But then you made the move to where Garver had to come into play, and then you have Garver for the rest of the game. And if the extras would have continued, Garver, who does not hit righties that well, would have to face righties. So the moves that Dan Wilson didn't make tonight, I want to say they didn't necessarily hurt us. They didn't necessarily hurt us, but I will say this. Dan Wilson, from now on, don't give Matt Brash 7 days off and then bring him back in. He should have been pitching. Matt Brash should have been pitching in this road trip when he got activated. He should have been pitching. I don't care. But Andres Munoz, he's got to get better. Andres Munoz has got to get better, because this is unacceptable from our all-star closer. And look, if Andres Munoz is going to keep doing this for the rest of the season, then you need to find a new closer, which I hate to say that, because I love Andres Munoz. Andres Munoz has been absolute nails for us for so long, and it's been a long time since we've actually had a consistent closer. So I say Andres Munoz is going to figure it out. He will figure things out, and I do believe we will have our all-star closer back at full potential very soon. Now, let us go ahead and talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow, Brian Woo's on the mound. Brian Woo is on the mound, and this is the perfect chance for the Mariners to get above 500 for the first time, which is perfect. You got the perfect guy on the mound, Brian Woo, versus Ryan Nelson. All right. And I don't know. I've got a good feeling about tomorrow. Have a good feeling that Brian Woo is absolutely going to shove in this one, and we are going to get above 500. And once again, before I get done with this recap, go ahead and hit the like button. It helps the channel in a lot of ways. Also hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And you know what? Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. to Teal Sleeves recap. We will be back tomorrow night after the game to recap a win or loss.